Hey y'all. Hey. Okay, so real quick, I just wanted to share a message with y'all that God recently gave me. Um so God is I know a lot of people have been dealing with a lot of spiritual warfare, like a lot of spiritual warfare. And God has recently been telling me that this is like the final hour. This is like the final battle. This is like the final fight, right? I did have a dream relative to that, but I'm gonna release that on a separate video. I just want to share the message that God gave me with all this. And so he he was saying it has to do with your belief. He said it has to do with your belief. Now I mentioned on a couple previous videos that God had me watching fairy tales all year long, right? Like the beginning of this year, he had me watching fairy tales, and the first one I started with was watching Once Upon a Time, the TV show, watching Once Upon a Time all the way over from the beginning all the way through. And so spoiler alert, y'all, if you haven't seen it, so forgive me, but spoiler alert. So they have so many seasons of that show, right? And I hadn't seen it in a while, so it was kind of like watching it for the first time again, because I was watching it with God too, so he show you stuff you don't necessarily see at first. And so on the very last episode of the very last season, like the final episode, that episode was about the final battle. The final battle. And it had been so long since I seen it, I forgot what the final battle was until I was watching it. And I was like, oh my God, I forgot this was the actual, what happened. This was the final battle. So if you're not familiar with this show, forgive me. Hopefully you'll still get the message from it. But with the final battle, Once Upon a Time, it wasn't like fighting with swords. It wasn't physical. The final battle was mental. It was a battle of the heart. And in a final battle, Emma was like the mightiest warrior when it came to, I guess you would say, the light or whatever, right? She was fighting the darkness. So she was fighting the darkest warrior. I'm probably not saying this right, y'all, but Emma, the girl from the show, she was like a warrior of light. She was fighting the black fairy. She was like the baddest of the darkest warrior, whatever you want to call it. And so this was the final battle, with good versus evil. And it wasn't physical. What it was the black fairy cursed the land they were on, and she made everybody forget who they were. On Once Upon a Time, every season there's a curse and everybody forget who they are. And then they have to be reminded and they have to be rewoken, right? So the final battle, Emma was cursed to not know who she was. And what they wanted her to do was completely surrender her belief. Completely surrender her belief. And there was this storybook. If you see the show, you know what I'm talking about. In a book, there's a storybook, which is basically like their Bible. On Once Upon a Time, their storybook was like their Bible, right? So there was this storybook, and the black fairy wanted Emma to not believe in it. She wanted Emma to see it and see nothing and have, absolutely zero belief in who she was, who her son was telling her she was, what the storybook said she was. The black fairy wanted her to physically destroy the book. She wanted to destroy her belief. She wanted her to physically do it, right? And so Emma did get to a place where she physically destroyed the book. She physically destroyed the belief, but she still wasn't defeated because the black fairy didn't get her to destroy. She hadn't fully let it all go, right? And so anyways, God referred me back to that episode because I remember when I watched it this year, I was like, wow. And he was saying the biggest battle is going to be for your mind and your heart and your belief and your belief. And he reminded me back. He took me back to that the other day. He said this final battle is hard. The enemy is showing you things that look opposite, right? He's showing you things that look opposite of what God has told you, right? And God said, how big is your faith? He said, how big is your faith in me? The enemy in his final battle is testing out your belief. He wants you to lose your belief. He's the whole reason for this attack is to attack your faith. It's to attack your faith. God has promised you a lot of things. He wants to attack your faith, right? He wants to steal your identity from you and attack your faith. Because if everything you've seen in the natural look opposite of what God told you, God is telling you you're chosen. God is telling you he has great things in store for you. God is showing you to be the head and not the tail. He's showing you to be above and never beneath. God is showing you just elevated, promising you promotions and everything. God is showing you all this good things he has in store for you. But in the natural, it's not lining up. The enemy is attacking your belief. He's attacking your strength. You have to understand your faith in God is everything. Your faith and believing that God is who he said he is, that he will do what he said he would do, that is everything. That's your power. God is your power source. So God was just showing me, making it known to me that this final battle, it may look like you at war with the things around you, but the enemy is coming for your faith. He's coming for your belief. And if you could just hold on and stand firm in the word of God, that's how you win this battle. You go to God for guidance. God is still good. You call him good. God is still good. You go to him for guidance. You cry out to him when you need to, and you do what you continue to do what he told you to do. Because that's where you find your power. That is your power source. If the enemy can detach you from your power source, then he wins. In the final battle on Once Upon a Time, the black fairy was trying to detach Emma from her power source, which was the light. And if she could just extinguish out all of the light, if she can get all the light out of her, if she can make her, doubt herself or think she was crazy. If you see the show, you already know what I'm talking about. But this is so relative. Oh, I love God. They had her thinking she was crazy. They put her in the loony bin, right? They already messed with her head, so she didn't know she was the chosen one. She had no idea she was the chosen one. And if she even entertained the thought that she was the chosen one for a split second, they said, no, you're in the loony bin. You need to take your medicine. You're crazy. And so they went after her belief. They wanted to separate her from her light. The light, even in the show, it said that the darkness could never defeat the light. The light was too powerful to be defeated by darkness. So the only way that darkness can win is to extinguish the light. The only way your light can be extinguished is if you relinquish it yourself. As if you choose no longer to have faith. As if you choose to let it go and walk away from it. That is the only way your light can be extinguished. Okay? So it does not matter what you're going through right now. And I'm not saying it don't matter, like I don't care and like God don't care. I want you to position your mind like this mentally. No matter what you're going through, God is still God and he is still good. And you have to trust him and believe that every single thing he promised you is still coming to pass. Okay? It's still coming to pass. Make sure at this moment you are using every superpower God is giving you. You hide every word he gave you in your heart. You go back through your notes if you need to. You say your confessions. You have praise and worship time with God. But you use every single superpower you have, okay? God just wanted me to let y'all know that in this final battle, in this final hour, the enemy is coming after your belief. He's attacking your faith. It may look like it's an attack in the natural, but he's coming after something far more greater than anything you can naturally see. He is coming after your faith. God said, do you believe? He said, do you believe? Y'all, real quick, one more thing I had to add, because God got me one day, I think this was last week, because I was going through some stuff, and doubt was heavy on me, and I couldn't feel my light, I couldn't feel my joy, I couldn't feel my strength. And God was saying, he said, do you believe in me? And I just kind of stopped in my tracks, and he said, I'm more than a good feeling, right? He said, I'm more than a warm and fuzzy feeling. I'm more than a good feeling. And I heard the scriptures, you know, where Jesus was talking and talking about like how little is your faith, how big is your faith. God just kept saying to me over and over again, I'm more than a good feeling. Because, you know, we like to get that good feeling from God. We like to feel God in his presence. But he was saying to me, y'all, that he is so much more than a good feeling. He started asking me, do I know who he is? Like, he said, do you know who I am? I'm sorry. Listen, I had to come correct. He said, do you know who I am? Like, oh my God. Oh my God. Yes, he's your father. Yes, he's your comforter, you know, and all those good things. But like, do you even comprehend exactly who he is and how powerful he is? And it don't matter what it looked like, because just like that, God just got to say the word and that thing is flipped around. God said, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? How big is your faith? I'm not a man that I should lie. Do you believe, beloved? Do you believe? Oh my God, y'all. Okay. That was the message God wanted me to share. He just wanted you to know that the testing that you're going through right now, the enemy is coming for your faith. He's testing your faith. What he would like to do is snuff. He would like to extinguish your light and separate you from God. He would love for you to be mad at God. And listen, God don't owe us a thing, but he's so good though. And he given us, these promises are real. These promises are absolutely real. Okay? But Lord have mercy. Oh, you guys. Okay. Y'all just be encouraged, because I'm the type, I have to tell Daddy, even when the enemy try to come for my faith, and this is just how I gotta flow with it. When the enemy try to come for my faith, even if I lose this, even if I lose that, don't you know how much God is giving me? Don't you know how good he still is? Don't you know that he owes me absolutely nothing and I owe him everything? How big is your faith? And are you still his servant? Because being a servant, we're here to serve. So it's nothing the enemy could ever take from you that God couldn't give you back and then some. You know? So y'all, I have to have these talks with myself sometimes. And it's okay, because when you're facing things in front of you, we gotta talk through this now. We gotta talk through this, because the enemy is coming for your belief. He's coming for your mind. He wants you to see what you see in the natural and panic. But that's a small thing to a giant. You understand? That's a small thing to God. God said, do you believe? Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Do you really know who I am? Because if you knew who I was, oh my God, if you knew who God, oh Lord Jesus, y'all. But I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm about to spend time with Daddy. I love y'all. Y'all be encouraged. Y'all be encouraged. And be encouraged and keep the faith. He said this final battle, the enemy is coming for your belief. All right? All right, y'all. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be blessed.